Jarvy and Friends, also sometimes referred to as The Great Adventures of Jarvy and Buddies, was a show made in between the 80s and 90s, specifically 1988, that aired on the Nick Jr. block. The show followed the main titular character Jarvy, who did not have any arms or legs, but had a bright blue stump for a body with a big circular pale white head, two little pupils with a big smile, with freckles on his cheeks. In the show, he would move around by hopping around the place, due to the fact that he didn't have legs, and since he also didn't have arms. He would often have to use his tongue to open things like doors, pantry doors. The weird thing was that his tongue had a cartoony four-figured hand, which was a weird discolored peach color. And at the end of his tongue, it would presumably help him with normal tasks, like holding objects and eating food. The next character, called Jarvy, was a blue daisy flower in a pot, who was a go-lucky flower of sorts. He loved everyone and everything, but since she was in a pot, she had to be held around by someone. And that someone is the last character in the main cast, Mossy. This character had a square head with a muddied orange tone of color. It was a weird buttoned-up green shirt with two buttons on each side, separated by a line that went from the shirt collar to the bottom. The character had stick limbs with little spheres on them, probably meant to be hands. And he was the one who usually takes care of Jarvy and Jarvy. When the show was released, it wasn't received well by a couple of viewers for a weird reason. See, they claimed that there would be weird eyes hidden in the background. Of some scenes, anyway. It creeped out a couple people, but nonetheless, the show did great until it was canceled on its 17th episode, due to a broadcast hijacking of sorts, which aired a crudely made and violent episode that would have presumably aired in place of the 18th episode. The hijacker presumably made the messed up episode, which to this day hasn't been identified and arrested. Now, the hijack incident. The incident happened on the spring break of 1989, as an episode of Pinwheel, another old Nick show, was finishing. Jarvy's intro tune started playing after the intro finished, and the episode started with Jarvy sitting on a bench without his friends in sight. He was noticeably frowning, as you could hear him weeping and sobbing, the audio very muffled and low quality. You could even hear a faint sound of an AC in the background. Jarvy continued to cry when one of his friends, Mossy, came in the frame and said to Jarvy, "What's wrong?" Now, Jarvy didn't respond. He just keeps crying like he didn't even hear him whatsoever. Mossy asked, "Jarvy?" once again. And this was when shit was starting to hit the fan. Jarvy stopped sobbing uncontrollably, lifted his head up in a choppy manner, and revealed his face. A face that didn't have a mouth or freckles anymore, just big, long, vertical eyes, with long black pupils. He then lunges out at Mossy, clawing at his face graphically. Somehow, for some reason. He had hands that just appeared out of nowhere. And after shredding Mossy's face horridly, he rips out Mossy's eyes. He then takes Mossy's corpse and chucks him into a well, as you could hear a wet, sickening thud mixed with bone crunching and blood splattering at the bottom of the watery pit of doom. It then cuts to a scene of Jarvy, just minding his own business, sitting alone in a field, when Jarvy appeared, hopping behind her slowly. Without hesitation, with his weird-looking hands, he starts picking off her beautiful blue petals as she screamed in agonizing pain. After she was de-petaled, Jarvy took her by the pot she was in and threw her harshly into the same well Mossy was disposed in. As a spine-chilling, shattering noise echoed from the bottom of the well, killing her instantly. Jarvy then turns to the screen with those same bulging eyes, looking at the thousands of child viewers who were tuned in. The background faded into a dark, solid black color, except for the well, for some reason. Blood-red text appeared at the bottom of the screen, saying, "You made me do it, even if you say otherwise." Just then, a blank technical difficulties screen appeared, marking the end of the messed up episode. At Nickelodeon, phone calls were ringing in about the corrupted episode, pissed off parents complaining that it scared their kids so bad that they wouldn't even go to sleep. One angry parent whined about her 5-year-old son after watching the episode, how he passed out from horror and had to be hospitalized. The uproar even appeared on the news. After this event scoured to the top, the police were able to track down the location of the signal of the hijacking, which was located in a surprisingly big, run-down shack in the woods. Unfortunately, the hijacker had fled from the shack. The weird thing was, though, that there were no finger nor footprints anywhere to be found. Reports say the only evidence found in the shack was the VHS, including the aired episode in question, and a crudely written note reading, "Ha ha, you can't find me." Other than that, nothing else was found. It was as if the hijacker vanished into thin air, and the tape and note were locked away by the police, never to be seen again. Bootleg copies have surfaced of the episode, as of recently, on sites like eBay or AliExpress. But they usually get delisted pretty quickly after they are listed. Remember though, if you happen to find a listing of these bootleg tapes, do not order one by any means. I was a witness of it. Okay, and ever since I saw it, I was never able to think straight ever again. Okay, I swear with my life, if you order one, you'll regret it.